Hello and welcome to yet another episode of The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, presented by me, Johnny Dolezal. It is currently 12:30 a.m. on the 7th of March in the year 2020. If you ever hear me do a Boston accent, as I just did, just please note that I'm not trying to copy. I'm just inspired. I'm really just touched to my soul by Bill Burr and his podcast. If you just need to listen to it. It's probably one of the funniest podcasts you'll ever listen to. I mean, that man, he's definitely my favorite comedian for sure. But his podcasts are unreal. It's basically like an hour and a half of him just doing stand up. I mean, with like current things. So it's pretty funny. I get inspired by him. He's from Boston. So yeah, if you ever hear me do a Boston accent, just please note I'm not from Boston. I never have been to Boston. It sounds like a great place, but it's just from Bill Burr. Being inspired, I should say, by Bill Burr. Billiam Burr. Anyways, so tonight, what are we going to talk about tonight, Johnny? Well, gee, golly, I don't know, mister. What should we talk about? I just got off the phone with Zach, who I actually did a podcast with, but it was on my phone. Okay, I know exactly what we're going to talk about. So it was on my phone. We recorded it on my iPhone. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, so I recorded on my phone with him, and it was a good podcast. We talked about like movies and shit, and basically how TV and movie like portray like drug and alcohol abuse, and kind of like how to mitigate that in your own life. It's actually pretty cool. But anyways, back to the main thing that I was gonna fucking say is that I recorded it on my iPhone, and it just made me realize how much I truly hate Apple. So I recorded on my iPhone and I put it on my computer, download it, and it recorded in like .m14a like format, which who the fuck has ever heard about that? And so I was trying to convert it over and over and over and over and over and over again, going to all these stupid sites, the like little, converter websites on the internet. But then I was like, maybe I shouldn't like give my computer cancer from all the viruses that I would get. So I didn't do that. And then I went to Audacity, which I've used before in my recording arts minor, by the way. And so I went to Audacity, which is like the go-to for sound editing. And I tried to import that file, and it was like, oh, actually, we can't read this file. So, yep, we can't read this file. We can't do anything about it. So then I was like, all right, fuck it. I don't even know what I don't even know. So we just scrapped it. It's locked away in the vault now. Maybe someday we'll hear it. Maybe. But I have it. I can listen to it, and it's great. So you just have to take my word for it. But anyways, this is going to get me going on my Apple rant. So I have an iPhone right now, and it's going to be the last Apple product I ever have. I'm trying to think. I'll tell you my story. My Apple story. I had iTunes. I had my first Apple product was an iPod Nano back in the day, way back when. Got iTunes, had all the songs, and I love music so much. I probably had upwards of anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 songs that I had like bought, and CDs that I had like imported into iTunes or whatever. So then, Apple product, the iPhone came out, got an iPhone, got the iPhone 3 or whatever, then all the way up to the iPhone, what do I have now? The 8 Plus. And then I thought, hey, why not give Apple Music a shot? So they had like that 3-month long trial that you could have, and you could have Apple Music, and it's basically like Spotify but shittier. And so I did that, and then after my trial ended, oh shit, did I just spike that? Oh, fuck, hang on, sorry guys. After my trial ended, it's so I downloaded some songs, right, as one does when they have Apple Music. And when Apple Music, like, the trial ends, it like it's supposed to get rid of all the songs that you downloaded when you had it. Except it got rid of my whole entire iTunes library. 3,000 songs. I'm going to say 3,000. It sounds worse that way. But 3,000 songs just completely got rid of. It's like, all right. You know how many thousands of dollars that is? I mean, let's just say that's $3,000. I mean, it was over, I don't even know when the Nano came out. Let's say, like, over a 10-year span. Probably longer than that, honestly, because I got that in like middle school, or probably even like grade school. I don't even know. I can't remember. Who knows when things happened? Not me. I'm going to look up when the iPod Nano came out. iPod Nano. I'm going to say second generation, just to give them the benefit of the doubt. Oh my gosh. You can get one for freaking $30 from eBay. iPod Nano. Let's see. I think it came out September. The first generation model was introduced on September 7th, 2005. I actually think that's when I got it. That sounds about right. Anyways, so that's 15 years of music that I had saved up and bought and all that crap. And it's just, ta-da, it's gone. And yeah, so strike one. Strike two. Strike two happened after so I'm going to say strike two was the fucking podcast and Apple recording and their proprietary files or whatever, so that only you can use Apple products to frickin' do anything with it. Which I have a PC. I have Spotify now. Literally nothing I have is invested in Apple. All the apps I have are available on the whatever the hell anything else is, any other application store. And so anyways, so one day I was at work. Actually, I was driving to work. And I plugged my phone into my car via USB. Sorry guys, I just bumped the mic. Anyways, plugging it into USB, and then all of a sudden I get like this, like, you know, that like a screen went black and then a little spinny thing came up. I was like, oh, okay, I'll just deal with it when I'm not driving and being a safe driver. So I only have like a 3-minute commute anyways, so who really fucking cares? Just play a CD or something, just like in the old days, right? Anyways, so I get to work. I try and do like that stupid hard reset that they have, and that didn't work. You know, hold one button down for 5 seconds, and then the other one for 7.5 seconds. But you can't hold them both down at the same time, and you have to hold one down 2 seconds after you do the first one. Like that stupid shit that they have. So I tried to do like every single combination of every single, like, for like a minute long hold on the power buttons. Nothing was working. So I just I unplugged it. I let it die basically. Just have it run out of its own battery, because that's like the only surefire way to kill it, other than fucking shooting it with a shotgun or with a fucking like a airsoft gun, because iPhones are fragile as shit. Anyways, so I did that, and I was going to make an appointment at the Apple Store, because going to the Apple Store without an appointment is it's just, you're going to want to blow your brains out, basically. Anyways, so I tried to make an appointment, and like on the little Apple thing, on the Apple website, I was at work, and I was like going on the website or whatever, and they're like, oh, what's wrong? Or, like, what seems to be the problem? And I'm like, oh, like you click like, all right, it's a phone issue. It's an issue with I don't know, motherboard, but I'm not a computer guy. I don't know, like software or hardware issue. I just said it's a hardware issue because it wasn't fucking doing anything. So I don't really know, but I said, and then there's like the thing where it's like, oh, or other. So I ended up like saying like, oh, my phone has been in a perpetual state of that spinning stupid like thing. And they're like, okay, well, in order to confirm your reservation, we're going to need, we're going to need you to sign in. And so I like signed in, and then it was like, because you're signing in from a new computer, we're going to text you a code. What? Did you not fucking hear the part where my phone doesn't fucking turn on or goddamn work or fucking do anything? Sorry, that was loud. And then I like back out or whatever, and then so I like got it so I didn't need to sign in. And then in order to confirm the reservation, I'm gonna try this down a little bit. In order to confirm the reservation, there was like a text or a call. What the fuck, guys? Honestly, really? You didn't think that there would be something wrong with a phone? That might be the only fucking phone that someone has. They don't have 5 other fucking iPhones. Really? Like that's your solution to this problem? You didn't think that, oh, if someone has something wrong with their phone, maybe we should just email them. I don't know if they've since fixed it, but that was the stupidest fucking thing for a tech company to actually have the fucking balls to do that. And then, so my dear sweet mother tried to make an appointment, and she lives in Utah. And so she tries to make one, but she couldn't make one for me. She had to make one for herself, and there's no other option to make one for anyone else, even though someone else's, all their shit might be broken and can't fucking go online to make an appointment, and you just have to wait in line for 5 hours like a fucking pleb. So anyways, that was the nail in the coffin. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the holy fuck, what is this company? They don't actually give a shit. They just like want you to buy new shit. And then, like whenever like a new iPhone rolls out, your phone just kind of like it's all like shitty. Yeah, that's starting to happen. Like the little home button that I'm supposed to press, like they don't have that. Like it doesn't vibrate when you press it because it's not actually a button. It's just part of the screen. So it doesn't actually, it's not a button you can press in. It doesn't vibrate. So I don't know when my phone is unlocking. So then all of a sudden Apple Pay will come up, and I mean, who knows what the fuck is up with that anyways. And then like the new shit, like you have to like have face recognition, which I don't need a tech company getting a fucking, I know everyone probably has it now. Like my computer's probably fucking recording me doing this and analyzing my face and all of its fucking like doing AI analysis on it. But I don't want I don't want that. Okay, I don't want to have to give you my fucking like retinal scan just to check like if my mom texted me. I don't need the fucking fingerprint shit. I don't need the Face ID. I don't need the retinal scan. I don't need the 3D, the fucking 4D analysis of, I don't need to give them my fucking DNA. I don't need that in my life. I just really don't, and I can't stand it. And then when I looked like across the way at the Windows store, there's like fucking like 5 people in there. I'm like, fuck, I'm going over there. I'm not gonna deal with these 8,000 people in here and the 3 fucking employees who know what they're doing. And I know Ben, one of my friends, he works at the Apple store, and he's probably gonna give me shit for this, but I don't really give a fuck because it's outrageous how fucking ridiculous that was. I was so, and this was like, I know I just told the story in about 5 minutes, but it took me about 3 hours to just realize that there's no hope for me. And it was a lot to deal with. It was really hard on who I want to become. I wasn't living my best life, guys. And that's the main point. You need to do what is best for you, okay? Okay, sweetie, you need to do what's best for you, honey. Anyways, so, yeah, fuck Apple because I cannot do this anymore. I can't. I've had it. Like I said, I don't have... And thankfully, they made the choice for me when they fucking deleted all my music. That was actually the one thing that I would still keep Apple for, was for my iTunes library. And they fucking made the decision for me. They said, nah, Johnny, fuck you. It's like, all right. Whatever phone shit I'm going to have later, let's do that, That'll be nice. That'll be good. Be rich. It'll be a new experience too. It'll be able to explore new things and not get so fucking pissed off about everything. Oh, I tell you, man. See, I was talking with Zach earlier, and we were talking about Star Wars, and boy, did that make my blood boil. Okay, actually, I would like to introduce a segment on this podcast. And I've been going back and forth with the names about it. But I think the name is going to end up being, you know what I really hate? And I know that that's a derivation of, what really grinds my gears. I understand that. But Peter Griffin cannot have a monopoly on ranting about the things that he hates, okay? Because I just did it, but I just didn't label it. So that wasn't part of the segment. But this is going to be a new segment I'm going to have when I have... I might do it with guests, but I'll probably do it more when it's just me by myself, so I can just rant about things and not have anyone with any other opinions interrupting me. Yeah. So, you know what I really hate? The Last Jedi. And let me tell you why. I will tell you why. Is because I went into it. Force Awakens was a good movie. It was a good movie. It had a lot of the building blocks that the new Star Wars trilogy needed. And they totally tore up the foundation. They didn't even go to the same fucking geographical location. They went somewhere else and then just decided to be like, oh, I guess we have the same characters, so that must be okay, right? Not their emotions or their actions or who they are or where they're from, right? That's fine. Just have the same characters. Anyways, that's the first thing that's wrong with it. The second thing... Actually, well, that's the main. That's not a thing that's wrong with it. That's just a thing that happens that's stupid about it. But the thing I hate about it is the casino scene on Canto Bight. Actually, no, it's Finn and Rose. And I know that people gave Kelly Marie Tran shit on the internet, and she couldn't handle it, so she deleted her Twitter, whatever. This isn't an attack on the actors themselves. They're just doing what the fuck they were told to do. They had people to report to. They had bosses. They didn't exist solely based on their own actions and what they think that the movie needed. This was all directors, producers, and writers just being complete fucking idiots about it. So, my analysis of The Last Jedi is that Finn and Rose could have died within the first second of the movie, and it actually would have had the exact same outcome. they actually contributed nothing to it. And I'll get to their contribution, actually the lack thereof, contributions or lack thereof at the end of this rant. But let me just tell you. So they go to Canto Bight, right? This casino that apparently only white males go to. And they fucking park their spaceship in a no parking zone or whatever. So like 10 feet within a fire hydrant or some shit like that. And then they're like, oh, I think they like reference it. I haven't seen The Last Jedi and I don't really plan to, but I might do a podcast about The Last Jedi as I'm watching it. That'll be interesting. That'll be fun. That'll be healthy for my blood pressure, right, guys? Anyways, so they park their speeder in like a no parking zone. Like all violators will be towed. And then they go into the casino and then they see someone who has the emblem, but then he isn't the guy or whatever. Or maybe he was, but then they never made contact with him. And then Benicio del Toro is there for whatever stupid ass reason. And he's just doing fuck all, basically. I don't even know what the hell he was doing there. But so then they get found because they fucking parked where you're not supposed to park. If you're going on a fucking like mission where the fate of the goddamn like galaxy is at stake, are you really gonna fuck them? Be like, hey, let's just park wherever we want. Let's be conspicuous about this. Excuse me, that was loud. I hope I use the word conspicuous right there, because that's actually going to annoy me. Conspicuous. Standing out so as to be clearly visible. Ha, I got it right. So if they're trying to be inconspicuous, why would you do a conspicuous act such as parking in a no parking zone? You know, maybe they didn't paint. Maybe the people on Canto Bight didn't paint over the lines, you know, repaint the lines or whatever. Or I don't even know. But anyway, so they park there and then that's how they get found, is because they basically got a parking ticket and like, oh wait, this was never registered on a whatever thing. And so anyways, so get a parking ticket, and then like the police or maybe the stormtroopers are after them. Pretty sure it's the police or whatever. Oh, but anyways, so like I said, there's only white males in this casino, right? And they're betting on horse racing, which has been around forever or whatever. And I was talking to Zach about this, and just the absolute lack of creativity about the creatures in the sequel trilogy is unbelievable. Literally, all the creatures are horses. Like, that's the wildlife in Star Wars now, is horses. Just like in Episode 9, they like ride horses on a Star Destroyer, which makes sense. Like, you know, probably 20,000 feet in the atmosphere, you know, just because. Who knows? Maybe it's the atmosphere is different on Exegol. But anyways, back to Canto Bight. So there's this casino and they bet on this horse racing and then blah, 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 blah. Rose and Finn get found out and they go hide in a stable or some shit like that. And then, so there's these kids, there's these slave kids that work there, whatever. And their slave master is an asshole, which as they usually are. And so that's understandable. That's probably the most reasonable part of this, is that their slave master was a complete dick. And so then what do Rose and Finn do? They fucking steal the horses. Because you shouldn't be betting on horse racing and you shouldn't ever whip an animal. God forbid you need to get somewhere fast. And that's your only mode of transportation. Or it's for sport and it's an animal. And, you know, like the horses that run the Kentucky Derby and all that shit. You know how good their lives are? You know how like they get the premium fucking quality shampoo that they get? Probably 10 times better than shampoo I use. I use hotel shampoo. Whenever I go to a hotel, I just grab as much as I can. I go home. and I don't have to pay for shampoo. Anyways, that's the actual lives that these animals are living in. They get pampered nonstop. They get fed the best oats, So they steal these horses from this slave master or whatever. They leave the fucking kids behind. They don't goddamn take them with them, which I guess how could they, because they're going on a top secret mission or whatever. It's so top secret that you have to park in a fucking no parking zone. But I don't know why that's really getting to me. That's just horrible. Anyways, so they break these horses out of horse jail or whatever. And it's just so... They break him out of jail, and they fucking have this horse chase or whatever through the town or whatever. And obviously the police don't catch him or whatever. And this is the fucking icing on the cake. Is Rose this whole time is making a big fuss about how, you shouldn't be betting on horse races, and these animals are treated just for sport, and it's horrible, and it's so wrong. And all that bullshit. And so many thoughts are going through my head right now. Sorry. So she's talking about this the whole fucking time, and then they get on the horses or whatever. So then they escape. They make it out into the open. And then Finn goes, "Oh, was it worth it?" or whatever. And Rose looks at him, takes a fucking saddle off the horse. He goes, "No, now it is." And the horses are, 2 miles outside the city limits? So, someone in a fucking speeder can go get them and just corral them back up. And they just had a pretty good workout, running through the city. So, they're probably more beefed up now. But let's just rewind to when Finn asks her, was it worth it? So she's trying to free these fucking horses, right? She's trying to free these horses. That's her directive in this whole fucking Canto Bight scene, which probably lasts 30 minutes too long. And that's what so she frees the horses, and they're off eating grass now or whatever. Not the premium food that they were being fed to win races, What the fuck do you think the slave master is going to do to those fucking kids, Rose? What in the absolute fuck do you think is going to happen? They're going to get their asses beat because you were too fucking self-righteous and you had to make it about you. Her head was so far up her ass, I can't even fucking begin to describe. Let me say that again. She was so fucking concerned about the horses. I wanted the next fucking cut to be that slave master just beating the shit out of these kids because some fucking random stranger was able to steal these horses from them. And now his whole livelihood is gone. What the fuck do you think is going to happen to those kids, Rose? What in the fuck do you think is going to happen? Oh, now it's worth it because there's not a saddle on a fucking horse. What about the slaves that you just, the 5 slaves that you just fucking signed their fucking death warrant and just be I know, fuck you guys. You guys don't get to come with us. Not only do you guys not get to come with us, and I get the whole top secret mission bullshit, but if you're just going to let the horses go, let the fucking kids ride the horses further or whatever. Go to another fucking city on the planet. There's got to be one other city, right? It's so disappointing. And then Benicio del Toro just shows up because he knows where they are for some fucking reason. It just shows up. And then he sells them out to the First Order later or whatever. And then somehow they all end up on... I almost said Scarif, but that's in Rogue One. They end up on Crate. Which actually was... I think a cool looking planet with the salt flats, and then when the salt moves, it's the red underneath. That looks cool. Crate looks like a cool place. So then this will be part 2 of You Know What I Really Hate. You know what I really hate is the fact that Finn almost had a redemption arc right there on Crate. When he's about to like sacrifice himself and run into that big ass fucking pulse cannon, basically. And, you know, it's like charging up and you see him. And I was like, when I was watching the movie for the first time, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, go, Finn, go. You know, sacrifice yourself. Just like fucking Admiral Holdo just fucking did 2 goddamn seconds ago. After she just hyper speed blasted herself through a fucking Star Destroyer. So, as a leader, doesn't that set the tone for the rest of the people under your command, you know? To be selfless, to save others, even if it means sacrificing yourself, right? Right? Yeah, because she killed herself trying to save the others. So Finn should be able to do that, right? Logically. Nope. Rose has to come in and fucking ruin it. She has to come in fucking... Literally, how did she know she would not kill him, too? So she ran her speeder into his, which, how the fuck does anyone survive that? I mean, they're shitty speeders, so they couldn't have been going too fast, but my God. What? And then the other icing on the cake is we don't win by fighting what we hate. We win by saving what we love. How in God's green earth are you going to save anything if you're not going to fight the fucking bad guys there? You're just going to let them do it? You're just going to let them do it? And any sort of self-sacrifice that's for the greater good counts as fighting something? And yeah, he wasn't even going to like kill stormtroopers even. He wasn't fighting. He was sacrificing himself. And then she had to kiss him, which is just weird. And then I thought she died. Unfortunately not. But, you know, fuck, man. God, I just can't fucking do it with this. Thank God Leia benched her in episode 9 because I couldn't deal with another movie that dealt with crap like that. Oh, yeah. So anyways, Finn never crashed into the pulse cannon. And then, you know, it got like they blew up the shield or whatever. So then the First Order could get to the rebellion now. Like that's what they're now called because Luke said that they are. Anyways, and also, you know, I was all for Finn's potential sacrifice there. But Finn would have been ripped. Like, this pulse cannon was probably like 50 times. Like, just the actual firing mechanism was about like 50 times the size of his speeder. And it was charging up. So, and it was like a big ass laser thing. So I'm pretty sure it just would have went right through him. But anyways, that would have been heroic, right? But nope. No, thank you, Rose. Thank you, Rose, for doing absolutely fuck all. Thanks. Anyways, I'm off my... Well, no, I'm not going to say that. And that's what's new on You Know What I Really Hate. So, switching gears here. Another thing I want to talk about is a little disclaimer. Not a disclaimer, just a general description about this podcast, because I really haven't told you guys what it's really about. It's called The Good, the Bad, the Ugly for a reason. Talk about the good, talk about the bad, and we talk about the ugly. The ugly being the Canto Bite scene. Just kidding. Just joking. American Psycho reference for those who got it. Even though I know those two words don't mean anything to many people, but to about 3 people who I know, they will mean something. Anyways, so yeah, let's talk about what I want to get to on this podcast, or not like get to, but talk about for however long this podcast goes, for however long I can keep this up. If I'm even keeping anything up, I only have one episode out, for crying out loud. Anyways, but yeah, I want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that comes in life, whether it's, like good, like movies, like Endgame. Oh, I'm going to do an Endgame episode, and that might actually take 3 hours to get through. I might do like a 2-parter, or like a part 1, part 2 to that one. Or just Marvel in general. There'll be a lot of Marvel stuff in here. So that'll be the good. The bad, we'll talk about like things that happen in the world, not so great things. Whether it's, like the coronavirus or whatever. It's not as bad as people say, by the way. Not as bad as the media would have you believe. Let me rephrase that. It's not as bad as the media would have you believe, because all they do is just fear monger. But it's another story for another time. It's not, the bad could be anything that's going on in politics, which actually in the next episode that comes out, I have one of my dear friends, my birthday buddy, Paul, on. He came down for we have the same birthday, so he came down for our birthday, and we went to Disney and stuff like that. And, but yeah, in the discussion, we do talk about politics. So I'm just going to warn you guys, if you don't like what we're saying, there's the pause button. You can pause it, you can close it. And if you want to listen to it and let me know what you do or don't like about it. And then maybe we can get you on the podcast. Maybe we can talk about it, but the thing is that I think it's very important to have these discussions. It's very important to have it with everyone. Like, I want to have people on here that I know do not share my political beliefs. I think that's very, very important to do, and discuss them, not just shout at each other about them, but discuss them. And so in the next episode, you'll hear mine and Paul's political beliefs, and you might not agree with them. That's fine. Not everyone's going to. I'm not expecting everyone to. But yeah, I would like people who listen to this to just keep an open mind, because there's going to be a lot of topics of conversation. So what's the topic of conversation? Another American Psycho reference there. Anyways, there's going to be a lot of different topics on this. Some of them are going to be edgy. Some of them are going to be, I'm just going to say, some of them might be bland to some people. When I talk about Marvel, not everyone's going to get Marvel like I do. Not everyone's going to appreciate it like I do. When I talk about politics, not everyone's going to have my shared political views. Not everyone, some people might agree with some things I say, and then they might disagree with the next thing I say. That's fine. I just want to have an open discussion about these things. That's why it's called the good, the bad, the ugly. The ugly could be the tension between differentiating political viewpoints. That's fine. It's not something that's flowery and graceful, and something that just comes naturally. When people discuss those things, that's where the tension comes from. And I think that just talking about things, whether you find common ground or not, but just have a respectable conversation about them, I think that that's a good thing to do. So that's what we're going to do on here. And I just want to let you guys know, because this is, like I said, we're going to talk about everything on here. The good, the bad, the ugly. And that's what I want this podcast to be. And that's what I'm going to continue it to be. And if only one person listens to it, I don't care. I'm basically doing this just to get good conversation, mainly good conversations out. I mean, I'll do these solo ones just so I can rant about things, and hopefully you find some humor in them. And hopefully you find, something where it's like, oh, I haven't thought about that before, whatever. But, good conversation is what I generally want to have. And to be able to find good, meaningful conversation with the people around you. I want to have that with the people around me, so that you can have that with the people around you. I think that's very beneficial. I think that would be a cool thing to do, especially with how polarized everything is today. It's just, I think that's such an important part of just the American discussion. It's just such an important part of our culture right now that we just have to discuss these things. Anyways, which I truly do believe. But yeah, so just heads up, talk politics next episode. So buckle in for that, bucko. But yeah, and then also we can talk about I'm definitely going to talk about some more meaningful things too. Whether that, I'm going to definitely probably do a few like Jordan Peterson type, not that I'm comparing myself to Jordan Peterson whatsoever, but I'm going to do like my interpretation of what I understand from him, that type of thing. But yeah, I think, so that's what I want this podcast to be. Oh, and I mean, even like with my diet, like if you're a vegan or whatever, or a vegetarian, and you hear that I'm only eating meat, only eating ruminant animals, or, whatever that means. That's just what Michaela Peterson says, so that's what I did. Then we can have a discussion about it. And if you don't like it, you can always close it, or you can leave me a comment, or we can get you on the podcast and we can talk about it. We can have an honest conversation about these things. That's what I really want, is to have an honest conversation about things. And because I do think that, not to get too Jordan Peterson-esque right now, but the truth is the most fundamental part of the human existence. It's what keeps the world going. It's what keeps our culture moving. It's what keeps the dream alive, really, in the essence of it. Just kidding. But I mean, it's an important thing to speak the truth and to speak articulately, and to believe in what you say, and to have things that back you up, on what you say. So yeah, I think that's an important part, and that's what I want to do on this podcast. So yeah, this one will go up sometime. I don't know when, but it'll go up hopefully soon. I'm gonna try and shoot for like the week, like from, if we're like Sunday the 9th to is Sunday the 9th? Yeah. Oh no, Sunday the 8th. It's Saturday right now. The 8th to the 14th. I'm hoping to have this podcast up there, and then hopefully the next one will be shortly after that, because it's already recorded and all that fun stuff. But anyways, so yeah, that's what I want this podcast to be, and I hope we continue it. Well, I'm going to continue it for as long as I can, and as long as people want to come on. But yeah, so that's what I want this podcast to be. On a completely different note, I am going to do something crazy, something I've never done before. I'm going to release a song, hopefully sometime next week. It's about, I'm going to say 90% done. So I'm going to hope to release it sometime next week or the week after. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to like share it on everything. I'll probably talk about it again on this podcast, and the journey I want to have with the creative musical side of me. Because that's a side that really not a lot. I don't really show it to a lot of people. So I want to step outside my comfort zone and just put it out there and just see what people think. If they like it, if they hate it, whatever. I'm putting it out there. Just like The Secret, putting it out there. But yeah, so that's going to be coming up. That's all I'm going to give away about the song. And then hopefully by 2021, I'll have I think I have 17 songs now, for an album. It's a conceptual album. And I will talk about what it's about later, because that's a whole podcast in itself, because I have some great theories about the thing that it's about. And it's awesome. I love it. I love it because it's so cool to think about what it's about in a different way. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say, because it'll just be too vague up until then, or vague, whatever. But yeah, Yeah, so that's the reason well, not that, but talked about why I'm not ever going to get another Apple product. We talked about what's wrong with the Last Jedi. No, we talked about some things wrong with the Last Jedi. And then we talked about what this podcast is going to be about, and my new song coming out sometime soon. I will keep you guys up to date. So yeah, thank you for listening. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you look forward to the next podcast. It's a good one. It's a fun one, and it's a podcast, guys. I'm getting so tired here. It's now 1:30-ish. But yeah, I will catch you guys later. Thanks for listening. This has been The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.